I know, emergency funds might not sound as thrilling as the latest tech gadgets or travel destinations, but trust me, this little financial superhero could save the day when you least expect it. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be armed with the knowledge to build an emergency fund that's not just robust, but tailored to your unique circumstances. Well, not quite, but we've got some golden guidelines to help you figure out the sweet spot for your situation. Stick around because, in just a bit, we'll uncover the secret formula to determine your emergency fund magic number. In this video, we will be discussing how to build an emergency fund from scratch. An emergency fund is an essential part of any solid financial plan. It acts as a safety net that can help you navigate through unexpected expenses and emergencies without having to rely on credit cards or loans. Why you need an emergency fund. Before we dive into the details of how to build an emergency fund, let's first understand why it's important to have one. Emergencies can come in many forms, such as job loss, medical bills, car repairs, or home repairs. Having an emergency fund on hand can help you avoid going into debt or depleting your retirement resources to cover these costs. How much should you save? The general rule of thumb is to save between 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses in your emergency fund. However, the exact amount you need to save depends on your individual circumstances. If you have a stable job and a good support system, you may be able to get away with saving less. On the other hand, if you're self-employed or have dependents, you may need to save more. When building an emergency fund, there are a few common mistakes that you should avoid. Not saving enough. It's important to save enough money to cover at least 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. However, the exact amount you need to save depends on your individual circumstances. If you have dependents or an unpredictable income, you may need to save more. Investing in risky assets. Your emergency fund should be easily accessible and not subject to market fluctuations. Avoid investing your emergency fund in risky assets such as stocks or cryptocurrencies. Using your emergency fund for non-emergencies. Your emergency fund should only be used for true emergencies such as job loss, medical bills, or home repairs. Avoid using your emergency fund for discretionary spending such as vacations or shopping. Not adjusting your savings target. Your savings target may need to be adjusted over time as your financial situation changes. For example, if you have a child or buy a house, you may need to save more. Not having a plan for replenishing your emergency fund. If you do need to use your emergency fund, it's important to have a plan for replenishing it. Make sure you have an emergency fund line item in your budget and think about methods to increase your savings, such as selling items you no longer need or starting a side hustle. By avoiding these common mistakes, you can build an emergency fund that will help you navigate through unexpected expenses and emergencies without having to rely on credit cards or loans. I hope this helps. How to build an emergency fund. Now that you know why you need an emergency fund and how much you should save, let's discuss how to build one from scratch. Here are a few steps you can take. Make a plan. The first step is to decide how much money you want to save. This will give you a goal to strive for and will keep you motivated. Track your expenses. The next step is to keep track of your spending. This will assist you in identifying places where you may cut back and save money. Create a budget. Once you know how much you're spending, create a budget that includes a line item for your emergency fund. This will help you prioritize saving and ensure that you're putting money towards your emergency fund every month. Automate your savings. One of the easiest ways to save money is to automate your savings. Set up a direct deposit from your paycheck into your emergency fund or set up automatic transfers from your checking account. Find ways to boost your savings. Look for ways to boost your savings, such as selling items you no longer need, picking up a side hustle, or cutting back on discretionary spending. Choose the right account. Finally, choose the right account to hold your emergency fund. But stop here. let's know about how do I know if my emergency fund is enough? Determining the right amount for your emergency fund depends on your personal and financial goals. Financial experts advocate having enough funds to cover 3 to 6 months of living costs as a rule of thumb. However, the exact amount you need to save depends on your individual circumstances. If you have a stable job with a regular income, you may be able to get by with 3 months' worth of living expenses. On the other hand, if your income is unpredictable or you have dependents, you may need to save more. If you want to calculate how much you need to save for your emergency fund, you can use an emergency fund calculator. Forbes Advisor provides an emergency fund calculator that can help you determine how much you need to save and how long it will take to reach your goal. You can also use NerdWallet's emergency fund calculator to pinpoint your savings goal. Building an emergency fund from scratch may seem daunting, but it's an important step towards achieving financial security. By following these steps, you can create a safety net that will help you weather unexpected expenses and emergencies. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more financial tips and advice.